Ah, I think that's GG.
Okay, let's watch the replay real fast.
Alright.
So I noticed you got a really fast layer for starters, and then you didn't do anything with it. Why?
Because I got into your base and saw Infinity Spores, and since the Spire was already laid, I just swapped straight into Roach Production.
Okay. I mean, you could have still gotten infestors.
True. I did
Like,
get Infestors eventually, but they were popping right as you attacked my third.
yeah, I scouted them within the overseer, so I attacked before they popped out. But the thing is, like, the reason I dropped 4 spores is because I scouted all the gases. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like, and anyone will be able to do that. Anyone will be able to scout the gases and prepare for potential mutas. So I mean, it doesn't really matter. You would still get map control of it, and you would still be able to take a third off of it. I particularly don't really like mutas too much in ZVZ, but I do like infestors. And like again, if you had gotten those infestors instead, might have been in a better position. Okay, are you do you have the replay loaded?
One sec.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, so let's unpause. We're only gonna look at your camera, okay? Let's unpause. Let's go times 2 and unpause in 3, 2, 1, go. Um, Another thing that's kind of annoying about CVZ is the openers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I went hatch first, you went 14-14, so I'm instantly ahead of you. And that's just how it works. Um, there are ways to catch up, but you gotta cut corners. Like you made enough lings that I knew I could make an extra spine and just make like lings and still be ahead in drones. Um, let's pause for a second. Let's talk about ZVZ because ZVZ is really complicated and lame. Um, like the problem with hatch first is if they go 9 pool, right, and they pull all the drones, then you die 9 pool or lower.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean most people won't do that, like the pull all the drones thing. Um,
That's the main reason that I don't usually do hatch first on a map, especially like this.
yeah. Well, I usually don't do hatch first either, unless it's like close by your spots because then you can tell for sure that they're not going 9 pool.
Yeah.
But sometimes in tournaments and shit, you have to like mix it up, you know, or they can cut corners. Like if you go 14-14 every game, I'll just go hatch first. And I mean, it's not like it loses to a lot of things. It will lose, like it would should auto lose like 10 to 15% of the time, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's not a bad build by any means. And again, like it puts you far ahead enough against 14-14 that you know it's kind of worth it for the 10 or 15%. Like everything in this game is kind of like gambles, and you have to take your best bet. Especially in ZVC, like you have to take your best bet in the openers, but it's pretty annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do go 14-14 most of the time because of the same reasons you go 14-14. So let's go over like your 14-14. That's why I went hatch first too, because I assumed you might go 14-14. And well, if you go hatch first, then it's the same, and we're even. But if you don't, I want to like show you how to catch back up and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's look at your camera. Let's only go at times 1 maybe. Are you at 122 right now?
126. Pretty
Okay.
close.
So let me go to 126, and let's just go times 1, because easy,
Alright.
that's really action packed. Okay, let's go in 3, 2, 1, go. So we're in faster. Now there's variations of 14-14. You don't have to take your gas at 14 every time. You can just like drop your pool at 15 and have slightly more minerals and shit like that. But I mean 14-14 is pretty standard, and that's what I usually do as well.
Mm.
So let's see. Do you have any questions about anything?
Yeah, actually, you were talking about how you don't like mutas, and it kind of like hinges on one of the main problems I've been having in my ZUZ is like I started doing muta play when it got really popular a few months back, and I've hit this point where I have this like timing gap once I've gotten mutas out, where if a dude builds up enough Roach Hydra army, Infestor army, they can just automatically kill me. Like if I don't do enough damage with the mutas, then I have a huge issue. I don't have enough army, um, enough meat in my army to be able to really deal with that kind of a push.
Yeah, I really don't like mutas because there's like I never liked mutas in ZVZ. There's except maybe in the beta. Like there's a lot of
Hmm.
things that can deal with it. Like the thing is mutas. Let's pause for a second. Talk about mutas.
Sure.
Mutas became really popular because Zergs wouldn't take a third very fast at all, right?
Yeah.
So what Mutas did is they give you map control. So since no one was taking a fast third, you could just deny their third forever with Mutas until they get their own tech, like Hydras or Infestors. And by then you either have a shitload of mutiling Baneling or you're transitioning yourself. But you're
Hmm.
on 3 base versus 2, right? And then Zergs realized, what if I just take my third and just make a spore? And like I don't have to drone it up, but like if I can have my third and they can't kill it with the Mutas, like I'll probably be ahead.
Hmm.
And there's also like if you're going mutas and I'm going infestors, I like my position better. So there's I don't know, like I can do a similar build to what you're doing right now, except I go burrowed infestors, and that's what I use to deny their third, and then take my
Hmm.
third. So
And you can
other than
still
yeah,
use those
it
really late
serves the
game.
same purpose. Yeah, exactly. It serves the same purpose as mutas. And most people won't put overseers everyone in the map. So
Hmm.
It's like metas when they first came out were kind of a metagame thing. They're still good, but I don't know. I just don't like them. You know,
Yeah, I
like
found people like I just can't do enough damage with them anymore. It was great when like nobody would micro their hydras against banlings, and you could
yeah.
just steamroll. But yeah.
So yeah, I would steer a little bit away from mutas. If you like your build, you can try it with infestors and burrow, and just 3 infestors with burrow will do the same as 20 mutas as far as denying a base. You just drop a shitload of infested turns on their third, and it will die.
It,
So there's options.
okay.
Also, like even just pure roach will be decent against mutas, like with tongue claws and stuff. Um, like even if you catch them completely off guard, but again, that's pretty hard to do because most good Turks will scout your gases and then
Hmm.
assume mutas, and if not, well, spores are okay against infestors too. So
Okay.
okay, let's unpause in 3, 2, 1, go. So okay, let's see. You drone up to 16, and then you make 4 lings and then expand. Okay, that's super standard, right?
Hmm.
Um, I like my build better than the standard build. Not to be arrogant or anything, but like I just like it way better. I just make 2 lings, then expand, and then as soon as my first queen pops out, I'm able to start my second queen. Um, so let's pause and talk about that. Um, I'm really not sure why this build is so popular, where you make 4 lings right away. Um, like, can you tell me your reasoning behind it?
Against another 14-14, I can imagine some really annoying situations where the other guy has lings in your base, and you know,
Okay, like if it's an early pull, you will be able to see it coming.
yeah.
Um, so you can make more links if you need to. But otherwise, I only like making 2 links, and again, like as soon as your first queen pops out, you can start your second one. So you can
Hmm.
inject and move that queen down to like make sure that there are no overlords around your natural and shit, and then you not only deny information, but you might end up killing an overlord as well with that queen.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, I mean you'll end up having the same amount of links, and also since you move the queen from your main to your natural, that queen basically accounts for like 3 or 4 links as far as defense goes.
Yeah.
So you will have 2 less links, but you'll have a queen down your ramp. So if they show up with 6 links, you'll be able to hold it off just fine, as long as the queen is being attacked first. You
Okay.
know?
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah, like I'm honestly not entirely sure why everyone does this and makes 4 lings at the same time. Like I'll end up having the same number of lings. I'll end up being able to deny Baneling busts just fine. I'll just have a second wing way earlier than most people.
All right.
Okay, so
Sounds good.
yeah,
We'll
we can
incorporate that.
try that and see if you like it. Right now, okay, this is pretty big too. Like your overlord scouted all the way down to that the close there, right?
Hmm.
You should scout only until you are able to see creep. It's really easy on a map like this. Like if you look at your own base, there's a really small gap where there's no creep from the ledge. So if there's no creep in the same amount of area by them in ZVC, you can just start moving your overlord, right? So
Yeah.
usually you can get to their base. Um, and this is another thing that I like to do against Hatch first. Um, Usually you can like if your overlord doesn't get to their base and doesn't see creep, you can just make lings and assume they're going 14-14 or for Baneling bust. You know, but if it does, then instead of making those extra 6 lings that you're making right now, those could be 3 more drones, and you could start closing that gap. Um, does that make sense?
You lost me there for a second.
Okay, so okay, I was just talking about like scouting first. So
Yeah.
when you see the creep, or if you don't see the creep, you can start moving towards your opponents, like towards the other places, right?
Yeah.
If it's okay, so let's just talk about this map. So your overlord would already see if I have an expansion or not, right? Because it would see the creep in my natural.
Yeah. I
If
haven't
you
moved it
see it,
down.
you can just skip those 6 links that you're making right now and instead make 3 drones and start closing that drone gap.
Okay. That makes sense.
I mean, right now you're gonna have 10 links that you're not gonna be able to do anything with. Um, 4 links I can't disagree too much with, and sometimes you'll be able to pick up a drone or two, but you know they're pretty unreliable. So I would much rather make the 3 drones if they fast expand.
Okay.
You know that's one of the ways I try to catch up. So usually when I do that, I'll catch up in workers, and I'll even be like 1 or 2 workers ahead, but I'll be like 10 links behind. Again, it's impossible to be ahead against Hatch first. But
Hmm.
one thing that I do take into account is whenever they go Hatch first, they have to prepare for me having a lot of links. So they have to drop that spine crawler. They have to make the first 6 to 8 or 10 links. You know, so
Right. And then you can just have some defensive banelings out and be
exactly, yeah. So as
clear.
soon as I scout, like I usually take all my shit off of gas because I do gasless play. You keep 1 on gas, that's great too. But as soon as I scout the hatchery, I put 3 drones back on gas and start droning like a madman. And then I get my baneling nest right away because you're gonna need it right away so that when their speed is done and they go counterattack or whatever, you'll have like 4 banelings out and they can do shit.
Okay.
Okay. On another map, like say it's a bigger map like Tal'Darim,